Now to breaking news, a pursuit of an armed man on a motorcycle.
And Desmond Shaw just arrived in SkyCal. Desmond, tell us where you are right now and what we're looking at.
Desmond, we can't hear you.
I got it. Let's go.
Desmond, you're on.
Okay, sorry about that. A little bit of a technical issue here. So we're northbound on the 110 right now. This is a very frustrating pursuit for LAPD as they are flying here. This is a little dirt bike, so it shouldn't even be on the roadway as it is. It's been all over South LA. This all began as a man with a gun call, but then we heard LAPD say that that gun may have been tossed out somewhere. There was a lot of back and forth that they even wanted to devote all the resources to this because they weren't sure that there was a crime that was committed. They were tracking it from the air, but then they had problems with LAX's airspace, and they gave it up altogether. But then another division of LAPD actually reacquired the pursuit, and now you can see we're getting into rush hour traffic as we make our way into the heart of downtown. So coming out of South LA, northbound on the 110, almost at the 10 freeway, a heart of rush hour traffic with a little dirt bike here splitting lanes. They might have a camera on the back, and they were on their cell phone as well, so not totally engaged in the driving, just extremely dangerous, especially for this suspect as we go underneath the elevated carpool lanes of the 110, guys.
I was going to say, we've certainly seen him take a lot of chances, Desmond, going in and out of traffic on the freeway now, but even on surface streets, and it's just unusual. You say this person was on a phone talking? Well, look at that.
Yeah, I think he's on it right now. And you know, Pat, I don't know if you remember, I think we covered this one together. There was a dirt bike pursuit before. There was a couple of them a couple of months ago, and this almost looks like the same dirt bike. I mean, I can't say for sure, but I remember that suspect being on the phone for a long time, and they were going in kind of the same areas that this suspect has been going in. And then, he's coming out of the other side here. There we go. Well, they might actually be canceling this pursuit, but I was just going to say that with that pursuit, that suspect ended up calling a bunch of his buddies, and it turned into like a big motorcycle brigade in South LA. So yeah, you do remember that one, and I just kind of wonder if this is even the same suspect. I mean, that person was really, really emboldened, and as I recall, LAPD just let that person get away. And I've just seen someone here on a dirt bike, same area, with a cell phone. You see that thing sticking out of the back. I know people on social media have been kind of speculating that that might be one of those 360-degree cameras. So, you know, maybe this person is on the live stream or something right now. Who knows? But we're northbound here, and just on the right-hand shoulder, just doesn't care getting around traffic. It's probably pretty nerve-wracking for that big box truck just trying to make their delivery right now. So we'll see now. We're making our way into downtown Los Angeles, but they may be giving this one up altogether now, Pat and Juan.
Well, you know, now that you mentioned that, I do remember that because I remember the color of the bike, and you're absolutely right. There are a number of his buddies or whoever just joined in at that pursuit, and a lot of them were doing wheelies or what have you, sort of showing off, and the LAPD just pulled off of it and let it go. I'm just wondering about that gun charge, if that was actually the case.
Yeah, did someone see a gun?
Yeah, and how that happened, how the officers know that this person had a gun.
Yes, they had said that there was a gun, and then they actually talked to the person who made the call, and then they said that they didn't want to meet with police. So without that kind of victim statement, they just weren't even sure that they wanted to be in with all of this. But you know, they're tracking from the air now. They gave up on the ground. We're in downtown LA. It's a dirt bike. This is just going to be incredibly difficult here. You can hear the frustration in the tactical flight officers' voices. They've been, you know, trying to keep up with this one and kind of having a back and forth with the watch commander about, you know, how seriously they want to take this. And, you know, look, now you try to come out the other side here of the Wilshire Grand and having trouble finding it again. It's just becoming all too common with these pursuits going into downtown, and authorities basically just not wanting to take these, you know, very seriously. And I mean, you can see why, as we've had so many pursuits end in really bad ways. But you know, this is I have to wonder if this is that suspect I mentioned before, Pat. Very, very similar stuff, and I just feel like at some point it kind of emboldens them out here, you know.
Yeah, knowing that they can get away with it.
And if you want to cut through LA traffic, a motorbike is definitely the way to do that. You saw how easily he was able to basically thread the needle, go between two cars, and now in downtown LA, as you mentioned, it's difficult to spot this motorcycle.
But they're also taking a lot of, I had mentioned chances, because that's way less heavier than a motorcycle.
Right.
So it wouldn't take much to knock that person off the bike, or he hit a pebble or something like that, and just really, harm himself. That's for sure. But at the same time, that's what we're looking at, those skyscrapers in downtown Los Angeles, and this person could easily go into one.
Yep.
Could even be picked up by someone waiting in a car. You never know. Especially Desmond, if that's the same guy, then he's sort of used to this.
He knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, looking all over. We had heard 6th and Figueroa was the last known location on this one, but we're not hearing hardly anything on the radios now or from the police helicopter that was overhead as well. But we'll just keep scanning along Figueroa and see if maybe we can pick it up right here. Figueroa at 4th. They were calling that. Well, let's see. There's a unit right there, but kind of unrelated. And yeah, I mean, it's just so easy. Okay, well, actually, we've got the helicopter right here doing a circle. Well, look at that. Here he is. They haven't lost him from the air yet. Amazingly, we lost him for a second, but I mean, almost just are just kind of toying with officers at this point. Maybe we had one last week where last Monday with a motorcycle in downtown where the suspect, as now he goes to the 2nd Street tunnel. This happened last week as well, but that suspect ditched authorities no less than 3 or even 4 times and just kept going. They had so many opportunities to get away, and it almost just seems like some of these suspects are, getting a rise out of just fleeing from the police and getting away, and then even taunting them and re-engaging. And we haven't seen if he's come out of this tunnel yet, but it's just so difficult with the infrastructure and the tall buildings and the tunnels and the overpasses and all of the traffic. And then this guy's on a motorcycle. He could turn around in the tunnel probably if they wanted to. And up on sidewalks, we heard that they were on the sidewalk earlier as well, as we're over by the lovely Broad Museum and the Walt Disney Concert Hall. I'll toss it, see if we can find the police helicopter here as well. But it's just doesn't get any more difficult here than downtown LA, guys.
Yeah, and it's busy at those intersections that you talked about, in particular the Broad and the Walt Disney Concert Hall, and the fact that I guess they couldn't even get close enough to check a tag, to see if there was a tag on the bike, and possibly go after this person at a later time. Don't know that, but especially if this is the same guy that we've been seeing on a number of occasions, and there we are again.
Desmond, earlier were you saying whether or not these dirt bikes are street legal?
I'm pretty confident that they are not. That was a part of what has kind of vexed authorities and gotten their attention in the first place, is some of these suspects just taking dirt bikes on the roadway. And a lot of time that's been the call for some of these pursuits. And so they'll get on the freeway. And the one that I was referencing earlier, that was what started that pursuit that turned into a big debacle with a ton of dirt bikes out there on the roadway that LAPD just kind of threw their hands up. This one, there was a real call. Again, it was a man with a gun call, but there was no word about the gun ever being discharged or anyone being hit by gunfire or anything like that. It was kind of peculiar that the person that made this call also didn't want to talk to LAPD or file a complaint. It's just very weird all the way around. You see them circling right here. Maybe they ditched it into a parking structure. Not sure. Juan and Pat.
Well, you know what, Desmond, we're going to let you follow this, and we're going to move on to other news here